Gentlemen, today we miss the presence of our eminent engineer who is normally present in all our inaugural meetings. He had to suddenly go to Madras and he has asked me to apologize to you for not being present here today. Today brings for a close the year of my presidentship. I welcome you all for the annual general meeting. Today, I hand over the reign of presidentship to the worthy hands of my colleague, who you all know is a distinguished engineer and an administrator. I am very thankful to you all and especially to the Executive Council members for having assisted me in the audience guidance of the affairs of this institution during the year. I also had the privilege of obtaining the guidance of eminent engineers and, in particular, Minister for Irrigation and Power, for which I express my heartfelt thanks. In laying down my office, I wish to briefly touch upon the various items I have mentioned in my presidential address last year to mention a few things that have taken place in the field of irrigation and power. I do hope and I earnestly believe that the present pattern of power stations and transmission line developments should yield place to the regional boards. I have mentioned this particularly in my presidential address last year, and I hold the fervent hope that one day the regional boards will be established. The Executive Council have also passed a resolution on similar lines which was sent to the Ministry of Irrigation and Power. I am sorry that not much concrete shape has taken place towards the realization of the objectives of regional boards. I therefore pass on this matter to the next Executive Council for a follow up. However, I wish to mention here that the Government of India have appointed a high power committee in May last year. This committee, with wide terms of reference in the entire field of power generation, would also perhaps go into the matter of the establishment of regional electricity boards. These are very weighty subjects having far reaching effects on the economy and social uplift of the country as a whole. We will all be looking forward to the outcome of deliberations of this council. In the field of power, zonal meetings on the lines similar to irrigation side have been started. This is a good step forward and I do hope that the power engineers will take full benefit of these zonal meetings. At this meeting, we have initiated a new subject as an experimental measure. A greater understanding of the subject will help us very much in this important aspect. We have to gain considerable experience in this line with the seminar to be held in this session day after tomorrow. I hope a good deal of interest will be evinced by the power engineers in this field. International conferences concerning power. During my year of partnership, I have initiated that this body should be a national one for both the conferences because the subject of power and energy is largely being dealt with by the Board of Irrigation and Power. Therefore, the board should deserve the honor of being a national body for international conferences. Steps have been initiated in this regard, and I hope that it will be possible for us to achieve this objective. It was expected that the fourth 5 year plan would be finalized during this year, but discussions are still in progress. Once again, I would suggest the necessity of expanding the power field to the utmost to be of assistance to the country as a whole. This body should play a prominent role in this regard. While on the subject of development of irrigation and power, I would like to mention that both activities of the irrigation and power are like a service department. They serve the people and the country as a whole. Therefore, unless a proper liaison is maintained between people at large as well as concerned departments such as agriculture and finance, benefits may not reach the people as well as we might find certain difficulties in the development. I therefore suggest that a proper liaison should immediately be initiated between the agriculture department and forest department. And I would like to mention the agriculture department because both power as well as irrigation serve primarily the agricultural needs of the country, and therefore unless a proper understanding and liaison is established between the agricultural department and irrigation and power department, things may not go all well. Friends, I now come to the end of my duty and shall introduce our new president. You all know him very well, and I do not think any further introduction will be necessary. The fact that he has been selected for the chairmanship speaks about his worth as well as ability as an administrator. Once again, I welcome you all to the annual meeting and thank you for the cooperation given to me for carrying out my duties during the past year. My dear Ram, it was only the other day that I got a letter from you. Your letter this time aroused great interest in me, mainly because of the information it contained that you had bought a lottery ticket like myself. Everyone, after purchasing a lottery ticket, indulges in the happy dream of winning the first prize and begins to draw up in advance a plan how to utilize the money. This building of castles in the air goes on till it receives a shock when the drawing is over and most men find that they have drawn a blank. I am no exception to this. In the event of my securing the first prize, here is my plan. The first thing that I would do would be to take out a 20 years endowment policy with the Life Insurance Corporation of India. I would then place in fixed deposit in a bank just that amount as would fetch an interest equivalent to the required amount of premium to run the policy. I would then purchase a decent house and a garden and with a balance of the money go out on a world tour. All the time, the risk of the life would remain covered by the endowment policy. At the end of 20 years of the policy would mature and I would receive the insured amount. At the same time, the fixed deposit in the bank would be free to be withdrawn and turned to any other useful purpose with a substantial sum from the amount yielded by the policy. I would create a trust for the endowment of some charitable institutions. A fairly large sum would still be left over to be invested in vegetable and flower gardening on a moderately large scale. This would yield a good income sufficient for me to live comfortably for the rest of my life. Don't you think my idea is quite nice? But will it be realized? The future is in the hands of God. It is for us to wait and hope. There is a charm in this sort of waiting and hoping, wishing you best of luck. Ever yours.